Hi, everybody. If you are wondering what this full moon has got in store for you, you've come to the right place. Tea. Just needed to heat it up. We're going to be talking about what is coming up for each sign, what each sign can expect during this full moon. Now, the full moon was, as of this recording, it was yesterday, about noon-ish. I have to look at my calendar for the exact time. But it's here, which means it's in full effect, which means that this full moon is also going to have repercussions for Christmas Eve, for Christmas, those times that we are most with family, which is often like right now. For all of you that have already traveled to family and are with family. And for those of you that may have challenges being with family, whether it's having safe space, whether it's feeling comfortable, whether it's hearing your right pronouns or not hearing a dead name, accepting the person that you brought along with you, who is your partner, boyfriend, husband, whatever, to Christmas at your family's house, things can be a little challenging. And to have that full moon on top of it, I understand things can be crazy. So we're going to talk about all that and get a card pulled for each sign. It's a little bit different format than I've done before, so I'm kind of hoping that this is going to be encompassing for everyone of some like a good big spread about what's going on for everybody, so we can kind of get a feel about an overall full moon experience. So we're going to get these cards in the right order. For those of you that haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Seth. I run Comingouttarot.com. You can always find out more about me over there. While we're here, though, if this makes sense, hello to whoever joined. If this makes sense, if it's useful, if the content is useful to you, if it speaks to you today, then keep it, hold on to it, work with it. If it doesn't make sense, the reading's probably for someone else, so don't stress about it. All you got to do is check out some of the other readings that I've got going on, especially there's still one up for December and the energy of December in a playlist if you'd like to check that out. It's basically health, wealth, relationship readings for December. There's still a little bit of time in the month where it could be applicable to you. These cards are almost in the right place. Also, if you do find the content helpful, don't forget to share it out with other people, especially if you think they can benefit from what you're about to hear. And hit that thumbs up button if it's useful, because not only does it tell me that it's useful, but it also gets it in front of other people's feeds. It's that whole algorithm thing, which is always super fun. All right, here we go. We're going to start laying these out. They're in the right place. So we got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Let's get these how I want them to Earth. Yeah, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Okay. Get these looking all pretty. I'll show you what they look like. Let me flip this around real quick so you can see. Top left to right. Left is Taurus. Very bottom right is Aquarius. So we got, or excuse me, upper left is Aries. What am I talking about? So across the top, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. In the middle, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. And on the bottom, left to right, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. All right. So let's talk about these guys. Just looking overall to see what kind of stuff we got going on for this full moon. First off, there is only one water card here. We're like heavily swayed into Earth with a little bit of fire coming up. So just overall full moon, we've got some materialistic stuff going on. This could be things to do with your money. We'll dive into this for each sign. Things to do with your money, things to do with your body. So in general, for everybody, we've got like a body or money issue going on. We'll find out what that means for each sign, but that's kind of the layer that we're working with. A little bit of fire going on with that earth with me, which means things are kind of scorched a little bit. So we got some dry aridness, the fact that there is also some like same amount of air aspire here. Something's starting to stoke, something's starting to get like revved up, which, as you can imagine, at this time of year when we're surrounded by family, when we may not be surrounded by our chosen family as much as we'd like, and things can get a little bit testy. Things are things are probably going to be a little bit testy. So, taking those moments for self-care, those moments where you can pull yourself out of a situation is going to be really helpful during this full moon cycle. Let's get into each one of these and see what's going on by sign. So Aries, you're going to double down on that earth element. The thing that I would share with you here, Aries, is that uh, it's really things are upside down for you. Things don't quite make sense. Where you seem to always know what's going on, when it's going to happen, and where things are going to be. You're at the turn of a wheel right now. Some things are starting to change, and while change is something that you usually deal with fairly well, right now there's there's an intensity to what's going on, and it doesn't allow you to tap into that intellectual capacity that you normally can use so rigidly of, well, here's the facts and this is what I need to do and here's how I'm going to move on. It's all turned on its head, which means you're having to kind of weigh the balance of how things should go, what should happen next. And I would encourage you to think about what how do I want to say this? What's the spiritual anchor that you can use that's a little up in the air right now that you can kind of grab onto, hold onto, say, okay, wait, I got this. I just need to focus for a minute. As confusing as things may seem, I know I can rock this out. I'm fucking Aries. You know what I mean? So hang on to it, Aries, because it's possible to get back to approach all of this confusion the way you normally would instead of feeling off your game. It's just going to take a little bit of time. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna have to draw on some inner strength to figure out how that works. You know, it's always interesting to, I'm going to bring this up again because the card comes, I don't work with reversals. So the card comes up face up, but what's important to me is the bottom of the card. And when that's true, that's usually when I'm in a state of reversal. So the challenges, especially that you're going to have with family right now, are going to be a little off the chain. Um, that could happen for anybody this time of year, but Aries, it's a little rough for you right now. You might find that you're not in agreement with what your family thinks about how health decisions are being made, or you may find that there's some challenges around finances. I think more there's going to be some upturn around how health decisions are being made over financial decisions, but you're going to have some like disagreements of this is what I think, this is what I think, and you're going to like butt heads about what should be. Um, so hold it together, Aries. You can be confrontational. Confrontation isn't going to get you anywhere. You're going to get stubborn. You're going to like almost lean into, especially if those of you that are on the cusp, lean into your Taurus. You may not want to do that because it's just going to cause more challenge. So the more matter of fact you can be, the more you can reach up for what that spiritual connection is in order to address how you're speaking to and with family, the easier it's going to be. All right, let's move on to Taurus. Taurus, already an earth sign with a lot of earth signs going on for this full moon. You are represented by the Fool today. We're bringing you up into an air element, which is an interesting place for Taurus to be. It's also pretty uncomfortable. It is not often that Taurus gets up in up in here, there's always like from here down, Taurus tends to exist in just doing what is and what must be instead of thinking about what could be. And Taurus, in this instance, during this full moon, there's a lot of opportunity for you in what could be. There's a lot of, I need to put this in a different, there's sun shining out over here and I can't see it. There's a lot of opportunity in what could be. In fact, you're probably going to end up running through some things that are super uncomfortable for you, a little bit like Aries. Aries gets put in an uncomfortable spot being in the earth space. You're getting in an uncomfortable spot being in the air element. What's interesting though is that this is like wounding. This is really painful for you to be going through, being in this opportunistic space, in this place that is unknown, in this space that is, I don't want to describe this, blank, like a blank slate. And being in this blank slate is challenging for you, Taurus, because you're used to knowing where everything is. It's kind of like, so great example. We have had, and we have in our house right now, a ferret that is blind. And these ferrets get around by feel and smell. And this ferret isn't used to our house, so she's kind of getting used to where all the corners and stuff are. But her whiskers are telling her where to go, and her sniffer is telling her where to go. And every once in a while, she just bonks into something because she doesn't know where it is. Taurus, this is you right now. You're going to be bonking into a lot of stuff because you don't know where everything is. You're out of your element. Things are not exactly where they're meant to be, and it's painful. It's frustrating. It's challenging. It's just really ripping apart everything that you know to be safe. And it's an exciting place to be. I would encourage you, Taurus, to find a way to lean into it without throwing your horns down and charging through, because the more you end up like a bull in a china shop, the more you miss the experience. Sit in the discomfort, sit in it, like poke your finger in that wound and figure out what it's like. Hey, Libra. So, um, Taurus, this is going to be this could also be physically painful for you. Like it could manifest itself. This discomfort can manifest itself in bowel issues. My guess though is that it's really going to be more like heartburn. Like you're gonna, and not just eating rich food at holiday time. This is going to be heartburn when you shouldn't have heartburn because it's kind of like anxiety welling itself up. Maybe find that there's some headaches, but more than likely it's probably going to be down here because your brain is racing and it's causing all this physical stuff to happen in your body. All right, Taurus, that's kind of a, oh God, I hope it's no nosebleeds. No, it'll be like down here, probably more in this, like this space. So that's what I was saying. It could be irritable bowel, it could be, but it's probably more like heartburn. It's up in here. All right, Gemini. Gemini, you've got the Son of Stones. This is Chief Seattle. So Gemini, this is also interesting to me. We've got this sign that would normally not be in an Earth space. And hey, card, what do you mean? And to have it doubling down in this Earth space for the full moon, having like this overall Earth theme, plus having Chief Seattle show up, Gemini, I think this gets you real focused during this full moon, where sometimes you're constantly like playing both sides of the coin. You're like, I see this, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to have all the things. This full moon is going to get you real focused on something that you really, really want. But the most amazing thing is that that's something you want for other people, not for yourself. So you're fighting for something for someone. What's impressive is that where you may be often talking about all sides of an issue, you're probably going to get stuck on one. And I use the word stuck purposefully because Gemini, you tend to not get stuck, right? You're kind of all over what seems to most of a lot of us that you're kind of all over the place. Where you're just like, hitting all 12 points around the clock. You're like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? All the things. But in this case, you're in a space of advocacy, and you're like, this is what needs to happen, and this is why. Especially since we're doubling down on this Earth energy, it gets very much in a rut and very much in a focus. And to have all of this like air and fire blowing around at the same time, you can get pretty powerful, Gemini, pretty powerful. So I'm hoping that whatever it is that you're going after is benefiting the masses. And if it's not benefiting the masses and it's benefiting one person in your life that really needs to have someone stand up for them, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gemini, we don't get to hear from you often enough in a way that I think is compelling. But when we do hear from you, especially when you're focused, it's incredibly compelling. So you're in that kind of state right now, and people are going to listen when you step up, especially when you're in that focused state. All right. Cancer. The 10 of Wands coming up for Cancer. Good morning, Kimchi. How are you? Gonna have Libra in just a little bit. So here we are in Cancer. Cancer. So this is gonna be like an intense full moon for you, Cancer, where basically the intensity of this full moon is going to wear down your emotional state. It's going to probably get really frustrating. It's going to feel like you're constantly under attack, and you will, I think, find yourself in a state of being overwhelmed. There's a lot of frustration during this time, Cancer, and if you are surrounded by family instead of chosen family, um, I can imagine why that is really, really frustrating. Do you, Libra? The the cool thing about, I guess the cool thing about this moment is you're probably going to learn like you're going to learn some about what's too much for you, but I don't know how much of that you're going to retain unless you really try and focus on it, because it's going to be kind of immediate response of, oh, this is too much, I have to do something about this right now. I would hope that in the experience you learn something that you can carry forward with you, but you have to be really purposeful about getting there. And I think that's the positive side of the coin, is that you find a way to release the things that are too much, but if you really work at it, you can figure out how to carry this forward so that you have some advantage later on. I do think, interesting, Libra, that you say they're going to find their way to something more positive later on. Of course, everything works in cycles. I agree with you that there is an opportunity for something positive later on. For the cycle of this full moon, I think it's really going to be frustrating. But until we get past the cycle of the full and like a few days out and move forward into the waxing, into the waning, then this is going to hold true for a little bit. But it's also a 10, so I agree with you. It's at the cusp of something. It's about to shift and change, but until that experience happens, until the experience of this is too much, I need to do something about it happens, it's gonna stick around. All right, Leo. It's finally all about Leo. Leo, you've got the 5 of stones for this full moon period. So we're doubling down on finances here for Leo. I think that there is, because we've got this, material weight going on during this full moon, doubling down on finances. I think money is way up in the air right now. There's not a lot of financial choices that are going to feel like they're moving you forward financially. It's going to feel like your money is kind of moving around and doing things that you want it to do, but maybe not necessarily working for you. And by maybe not necessarily working for you, I really mean it's not necessarily working for you. There's no maybe. Your money's kind of like going like this and it's going to where you want it to go, but is it really working for you in the best way that it possibly can? So, Leo, I think there's a lot of it's kind of like this feeling. It's kind of like taking your dollars or your coins and just going like this and watching it fall around you, and and the next thing you know, you don't have any money anymore. So, Leo, while it feels like you can just start throwing money around right now, it may behoove you to consider what are your opportunities to do with your finances in the future. Uh, this can this will be creating some difficulties around finances if you're not careful and thoughtful about those coins. So willy-nilly, not so good. It's going to create some discomfort and some challenge. If you get a little more thoughtful about your coin, I think you're going to find uh, that there's more opportunity financially. In fact, you may want to reach out to some of your Aries friends who have a better understanding about where their finances are during this month and see what they have to say. I wouldn't match you up with a Taurus right now. Tauruses are going to be going through their own crazy. So wouldn't connect with them right now. Libra, or not Libra, who is it? Gemini may also be able to give you some support here, though they're real focused on supporting other people who need advice and can't really, not advice, who can't really speak up for themselves. They're more intent on advocacy right now. You might find some help there. The other sign you might reach out to is Virgo, because Virgo is actually working on balancing finances, especially this month, on what they need to hang on to and what they need to give out. Got a good head on their shoulders about finances right now. So between Aries, Virgo, and Gemini, you may find some support around your financial like decisions, even though you're not looking for it. It may be good to talk to them if you know that Aries, that Gemini, that Virgo. If you know them, you might talk to them about, hey, I've done this with my money, and this is what I'm doing right now, and I spend it on this and I spend it on that, and I'm about to go do this, and they might like give you the like high five and say keep going, but have you thought about? Or they might be like, whoa, you need to pull it back. That's a little insane, Leo. Uh, okay. Oh, I said Virgo. I think I said Libra earlier. What I meant was Libra instead of Virgo. So Libra, Gemini, and Aries. Sorry, pull back. All right. Hello to folks who joined. I'm just walking through the signs for a full moon reading for December 2018. My name's Seth, if you haven't been here before. All right. So what did we just get done with? Leo. Now we're walking into Virgo. Ooh, Virgo. This card makes me think about Virgos a lot. And my aunt, who was an ER nurse. This is Nut. She is an Egyptian goddess. She's also the mother of swords. All right, Virgo. One of my favorite things about Nut is that she likes to have things where they're meant to be at the right time. And as long as everything where it's meant to be at the right time, she's full of love and care for everyone. But if it's not where it's meant to be, she'll cut a bitch. So I think that Virgo might understand this, and that Virgo has probably some intimate understanding of this. Virgo is one of my favorite signs because, like Taurus, it's an Earth sign, and and we tend to get along in understanding that things have a time and a place. But there is a hypersensitivity to Virgo that I appreciate, because it's something that not everybody can appreciate, and I love that Virgos have a way things should be when they should be, because I can live up to that expectation. It's easy, and Newt is exactly like all of that. So there is a double down on how you approach the world here, Virgo. But what's interesting is, first, let me remind folks, is that this whole thing, remember, is earth heavy, it's material heavy. So we've got this state of either finances or health. In your case, Virgo, I think there's opportunity for mental health review. There could be some either, is it positive? Positive is subjective. There's, I think there's just awareness of mental health that occurs during this full moon that you may not have been privy to, or you just get more responsible about during the course of this full moon. So if you've been thinking about going to see a professional, or if you have been, there's a bit of a breakthrough. If you need to be on some sort of medication, I think that gets calibrated to where it's meant to be. Um, but mental health in general, Virgo, is what's focused during this full moon. So if you haven't been thinking about that and things feel a little bit off, now's the right time to think about, how do I get a referral? Who do I go speak to? And the effort of trying to move forward in a mental health vein is something that is the clear focus for Virgo during this full moon. All right, Virgo, you may want to consider. Actually, I don't know if there's any other signs here who can help you work through that. All the other signs are in a state of immaturity, except for um, Scorpio. Scorpio's got the same kind of like experience, but they're going through something totally different. So years. I don't I don't know, Libra, if you're talking to me or someone else, because you're also giving readings. Anyway, um, so someone who might sympathize or understand with what's going on with you is Scorpio, which is an interesting pairing, I think. All right, now let's talk about Libra. Libra, card that is drawn for you for this full moon. This is the Six of Stones. I love this for Libra because there's already a sense of balance in our work around Libra, right? So Libra is associated with the scales, justice. We've got uh, our balance of should we give, should we take, and what is the balance between those two things. In particular, the fact that this is also an Earth card while we're Earth heavy is fascinating to me. The Because we're also in a juxtaposition of bringing things down to earth. So finding that balance in our physical body and the space that we're in uh, is the experience during this full moon. So I equate that to. So here's the story that I'm going to equate that to. It's like for someone who's at home and is surrounded by family, and things may or may not be going the way that you want them to go, right? What your body is going to be going through is finding the balance of. So this is different than Taurus. Taurus is like discomfort, acid reflux, things are brain is all over the place rather than feeling like they're where they're meant to be. Where Libra is kind of like, oh wait, things are a little bit weird, or things are great. And if things are great, how can I make things a little bit weird? And if things are a little bit weird, how can I make things great? And there is a comfort in the body of doing that, where sometimes Libra, I think, can get a little stuck in the design of something or how things should be, This is like physically feeling it, like, yes, this is where I want to be. I need to be giving you this this massage, or I need to be handing out cash instead of gifts, because it makes everybody feel like they can get what they want, and there's a balance in that. The massage is somebody needs that physical touch in order to understand that between you and them, that there is no more ill will. It is the give and take of some sort of physical energy. And I think of money as physical energy because it's earned and given for something. It is transferred, just like touch is physical energy, where energy is transferring. You're going through creating balance through material things. So it's not always possession. It could just be touch. So it's money that's transacting. It is touch that is transacting, and you're recreating balance in the world, and that feels good because things may not have felt as good as you wanted them to. So it feels good. If you do happen to know a Leo, reach out to the Leo and help them in a way that they're ready to hear what's going on with their finances, because you are understanding the give and take of things, and Leo is kind of like throwing it all out there right now, and they may need some support, and they maybe they don't know they need support, but they don't want to hear it unless they come to you. So if you have some Leos in your life, seek them out, open to the conversation, be available. All right, Scorpio. You know some kimchi? Scorpio, got the old man, Scorpio. This is interesting to me because Scorpio, you're in a position to create great change by working in the background. This means rather than kind of scuttling along and striking when you're ready, position your chess pieces. What needs to be where in order for X to happen? Who needs to know what in order for Y to occur? This is, interesting. So in relationship-wise, who needs to know what in order for Y to occur? This is an incredible time to really get in touch with and build the structures that are going to, the structures that are going to help create what's next. The best part is you already know what the points of this structure is, what the pieces of this puzzle are. All you got to do is line them up. Good morning, Elizabeth. You've done this before. You can do it again. It's something that you're experienced in. You just don't do it often. So draw on the experience and move yourself forward based on all of those chess pieces moving. This has got to be a very active thing, Scorpio. I don't think you're gonna feel like you want to be very active, because the background doesn't feel very active. Background can be incredibly active. Think about it like a bunch of stagehands during a show. You see the actors on stage, but you don't see the stagehands back in the back of the show, like running around, making sure that the 30-second costume change happened, that the props in the right place before they come on, and that they're ready to pull down on a cord so that the curtain closes at the right time. So there's a lot of chaos backstage while there's like seemingly stoicism on stage. That's what this is like. You're running around in the background, getting the things done that need to get done. But it is still kind of a slow and steady wins the race. So there's no rush, but you're running around making sure things are getting done. So there's a lot of activity. There needs to be activity. Things need to be happening. All right. Boom, boom. Sag. Let's talk about Sagittarius. Sagittarius, for our archer, got wands. I like to think about these as arrows sometimes too. So Sagittarius, we've got 4 arrows for you, 4 of wands. This is, for me, it's often a feel good card. Things feel good when this comes up. What's interesting though is that we've got this fire element in this this fiery space. So we're doubling down on fire in a place where, or in a reading where we've got a lot of earth elements. So this is gonna destroy some stuff in order to build some stuff. What I mean is, Sag, you can knock all the things that are not serving you in your life right now. You can knock them out, burn them down, get them out. If you need to burn a bridge, burn a bridge. But what you're starting to create is an entirely new structure for yourself. You're creating an entirely new, probably set of this may be building new relationships. In general, you might be finding yourself in front of, it's not in front of, involved in events that are creating new opportunities, kind of like being at a promotional event or getting involved at a like a job fair. You know, it's an event where an opportunity exists and you take advantage of it. But if you hadn't made room with getting rid of all of that other stuff, you wouldn't have the opportunity to take advantage of what's in front of you or what's coming in front of you during this full moon. So I would keep your eye out for those kind of things. Bullseye in on the stuff that no longer serves you, kill it, knock it out, move forward, and create this new structure. But it's going to be pretty intense. I think it's going to be fast, and it may be challenging on the other side where you're like, oh, that happened so quickly. I didn't realize that I did all those things and I got involved in something new. But Sag, you can work that way anyway. Like this kind of tumble of things that occur happens to you anyway. So I would say it's not a foreign experience, but it's something that you're going to activate during this full moon. All right, moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, kind of like Taurus, you've got this. You've got a major arcana card, so we're in a life-changing moment, especially with this Wheel of Fortune. Capricorn, major life event right now. Things are shifting, things are changing. Two things. If you are connected to ancestors in any way or those who have passed, if you have an altar, I would encourage you to visit it, spend time with it, speak to those ancestors. They have a message for you. What is this? There's hummingbirds here, and I don't know why there's a hummingbird here. There's no actual hummingbird in this picture. I mean, you see unicorns and snakes and old man and hands and a turtle and another face up here and some lady down here, which are the ancestors coming. There's no hummingbird actually in here. It's just an image that looks like a hummingbird. So for some reason, Hummingbirds are important, and I know that this time of year, those are birds that we don't often see. So it may be a totem, it may be something that's important to you, um, but Capricorn, hummingbirds are somehow important, and if they are a symbol that means something to you, then I would lean into what that symbol means for you right now. If there's any Capricorns on here, oh well, kimchi. Are you a Capricorn? But it's interesting that that's happening. She wants to be reincarnated into a bird. Oh, cool. Is she a Capricorn? Just do a little pause and check in about Kimchi's grandma. Has she? So you said she's passing. So she's in the. I'm assuming she's in the state of passing rather than having already passed. Just to make sure. Is that what you meant? Did you mean to say passing and not passed? You saw a hummingbird this morning. Okay. Um, Kimchi, it may be time for you to check in. Have you spoken to her today? Have you spoken to her today? Okay. Um, I don't know quite what the you FaceTimed. Okay. Um, so the fact that this is happening is that it is not unusual for me to have symbols appear when those who have passed have something to say. Um, so can't see her. Okay. It is not unusual for those who have passed to try and speak to me, to someone else, with symbols in the cards. So I do wonder if it's possible that she may have passed already. If not, I am amazed that she's, or that the energy that she has is finding a way to speak to you through these cards, especially if she wasn't able to verbally say anything, if she's not able to speak, like verbally, like physically speak. So ancestors are important. Um, and here's what I would add, because it's strange that this is coming out related to Capricorn. Maybe it's just that the message is finally getting through and you needed to hear it. But and we'll continue with the rest of the signs in a minute. So Kimchi, if she's not passed already, and this is her getting through, because the ancestor thing was important before I got to the hummingbird, it's also entirely possible that she is communicating with them and they're giving me the hummingbird in order to have you reconnect, or yeah, getting somehow reconnect with her or family. uh, so the ancestral thing is important. If you are someone with, always go and pray. Okay, so then if you have your own altar, I would encourage you to be at the altar today to find some time for it. I would encourage you to put the offering on it if you are someone who does this. And I would encourage you to, if you don't, to pray in your own way. Do what, because this doesn't have to be prescriptive, but pray in your own way. But if there's someone else who in your family who can or believes in, and who can connect to or believes in ancestors, now's the time. to make that offering, to reconnect, and to share with them the story of this hummingbird, uh, and the story of your grandmother and the life, and honor that. Now's the time. Okay. Um, Thank you for helping to understand this message that was coming through that I didn't quite understand. And how amazing, right, that we were here in the same time and place. This was meant to have a moment. All right. Uh, let's move on so I can finish up the reading for the full moon. So Aquarius, uh, water bearer. Aquarius, what we draw for you is the Son of Cups. All right, Aquarius. Uh, in this, you're welcome. Uh, that was really cool, right? In this full moon, where reading where Earth and material, where our health and our money is important, and to have this sign double down in water, um, is interesting to me, because basically you're in a state of creation, especially around your relationships. I think you're going to find that you are probably falling in love during the course of this full moon. You might not have realized it, but this is when you do. This is when you get in the state of being Twitter pated and realizing, wait, I do love this person. Now what? And it's Christmas time. It's the solstice. It's Yule. It's this time where we hope for miracles to happen, kind of like this last little mini moment that we had about Kimchi's hummingbird. We hope for these little miracles to happen, and I think, Aquarius, for you, you're going to find more of a miracle than you expected, especially around love and relationships. That's kind of cool, because everybody else has got something they're dealing with, except for maybe Libra, who's like learning to balance their, not learning, but experiencing balancing the scales again. But you're getting that love moment, Aquarius, which is kind of cool. Okay, now moving on to Pisces. Pisces, kind of like Cancer, you're in a bit of a challenging space. The Ten of Swords going on here, where Cancer feels like Cancer's taking on too much. You're actually probably realizing that there are old wounds that are resurfacing. This isn't stuff that's like, how do I describe this? This isn't stuff that's like new, fresh, I want to hurt you. This is someone like digging the knife in. So at this time where you may be surrounded by family, especially if you're someone who's part of the LGBTQ, this is my LGBTQ community, you might be struggling with pronouns, dead names, partner acceptance, all of those things that we struggle with after we come out, um, or after, or before we come out. People may say things that are triggering. Hey, Paloma. And it's these old wounds that are coming to bear right now, which is really uncomfortable. And I do think that, similar to Taurus, where Taurus is probably having some acid reflux, I really think that this is a state of digestion. Like, it's super uncomfortable. It feels lower to me, like way lower. You may find that you have digestion issues. You may find that you have IBS, excuse me, and you end up sitting on the toilet a long time. But Pisces, it's a lot of it's in your head. And what I mean by that is you're creating your own discomfort. If you can find a way to work with these old wounds in a way that is emotionally healthy, rather than like dwelling on what's happening and why, then you'll be able to move through this in a much smoother way. And that's part of the turn of the wheel. That's part of why this is the 10, is that you're getting closer to your mom has digestion issues. And part of that, I think, is the way she processes. If she can especially for this reading during this full moon, if you can move past processing up here and move through the emotional journey of, oh, this is what this is, and I can get on the other side of that by doing X or Y, and accepting what this is and knowing that I am now in another state, whatever it is, you can move forward without all of that old pain continuing to manifest itself physically in the body. In fact, working with Scorpio might be able to help with that, since Scorpio is working to manage some of these relationships and move things around and move things to their advantage, but doing it in the background. It may be worthwhile talking to Scorpio, who's learned how to manage their own emotional state in a way that can convince others to help them move forward. That might be really helpful for Pisces. It's interesting getting Scorpio and Pisces together, isn't it? You may also find, Pisces, that Gemini is here to fight for you and help you and support you, because they're here to fight for someone right now, and they can advocate for you. So Gemini may be able to support you and help you. Meanwhile, Aquarius is just walking around in love. It's probably going to be obnoxious to everyone. Don't be obnoxious, Aquarius. That's probably a bumper sticker. It's probably a bumper sticker. All right, everybody. I did see that there were people asking for readings. I'm not actually doing the readings that I'm doing here are for the full moon. So if you're interested, watch this back on the replay, and if it's helpful and it resonates with you, hang on to it, hold on to it, hit that thumbs up button. This is helpful for you because it'll get it into other people's news feeds. Share it with your friends if they need to hear this message. So if you've got people that you know who I just read for, then please share this out with them so they can benefit from the message as well. A couple things. If you're interested in having a reading, you can find a reading with, you can purchase a reading with me over at Comingouttarot.com/shop. Right now, the reading that most people are taking advantage of is the year ahead reading. I've got a couple of slots left in January. If you're interested in purchasing that basically what it is it helps you take charge of your 2019. So you get some insight on what's coming on a month-by-month basis. And depending on the options that you choose, we'll do a 90-minute reading that will give you those options, give you some action steps in case you want to continue that path, or if you want to alter and change it in order to be successful in the direction that you'd like to go. And there are additional option packages where I'll help you out with the project plan, and I'll help you out with follow-up readings so you can stay on track and actually find yourself successful in 2019 versus hoping that things are going to work out. You can take charge of that 2019 versus so many, like 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. And if you want to get your shit together, discover your potential, activate your momentum, stick around with me. Let's purchase that package that's going to keep you working with me so you can stay on track. I'd love to help you out. For those of you who are asking readings on here, I don't actually do readings on YouTube, but you can always purchase a reading with me and we'll spend some time together. If you're looking for an opportunity to have a shorter reading with me, because this is the best way to get a feel, to have a shorter reading with me on Fridays at 6 o'clock Central, I get on Periscope or Twitter. They're the same thing, basically. I get on live and I'm on for about an hour at 6 p.m. Central, where you can donate $10 and I'll pull a couple cards for you, give you some insight and actionable advice on your question. So you get a sense of what it's like to have a reading with me in a short, non-committal sort of experience that that isn't a full reading. Great. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna post this in a little bit. We're just running up on an hour. The only other thing that I would add to this, since we're wrapping up, is there's a lot of tens in here. So we're all moving towards the end of a cycle. Imagine that. It's the end of December and 2019 is about to start. Not a surprise. We got the Wheel of Fortune, the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Stones, and the Fool in here, uh, plus some mature court cards. So it's not surprising that everything's about to shift, change, move forward, and start a new year. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. If it is, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you have subscribed. You haven't already, please do so that we can keep track of each other. Thanks everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday, and I will see you all later.